Puts her name on. Okay, Mayor Tory to speak.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I'm proud to be able to get up and speak of this, proud of the work that's been done by the Council, and of course I've said thank you to the staff and to Deputy Mayor McConnell a number of times, but she doesn't want to have herself singled out for attention today because she's here incognito, so I won't do that. But I want to start off just by saying, so I do sincerely thank everybody that's been involved, including many members of the public and people with lived experience who've helped to bring this report to us today. I want to just start off by talking about the fact that I agree. I'm one of those who agrees absolutely, and I haven't heard anybody who actually disagrees with the fact that the best poverty reduction program or measure is a job. But the people we're trying to help are either unemployed in many cases or underemployed, and in order to address that state of affairs, they need some kind of a hand up. I attended a reception on Monday night for an organization that is largely privately financed by private sector concerns to give people rental assistance. And a woman stood up there and told the story of how she'd fled her home because of domestic abuse, and that she'd ended up in shelters because she had nowhere else to go, and that only through this rental assistance program, which got her into proper housing, could she then get on her feet and have not one but two jobs. Not one but two jobs. And her life had been turned around by the fact she got the rental assistance, which put her in a position to get a job, and the rest was a happy story. So yes, the job was ultimately, what helped get her out of a situation in which she was impoverished and marginalized, but it came about as a result of one of the kinds of measures that are in this report. As I said, I'm proud of this plan as a work of this Council in response to the motion passed by the previous Council, and I want to spend just a minute discussing why we're doing this, what it is, and how we're going to do it. You can't talk about One Toronto, as I did during the time I was seeking election to this office and now as a person who's holding this office, without acknowledging the disparity between those, as I refer to it, who are comfortable and established to varying degrees, and those who are marginalized through unemployment, through underemployment, through underhousing, through undernourishment, through underachievement in terms of not being able to reach their own aspirations. And it is inconsistent with our values to simply say, well, too bad for them, or better luck next time, or whatever. But it more than anything else, to look at it positively, it denies those people the opportunity to be the best they can be. And if you look at what's in this report, and yes, it's a framework over 20 years, and it's aspirational in the sense that it talks about things, some of which we cannot solve on our own. But what's in this report are a series of measures to let people be the best they can be. This is a moral issue, it's a values issue, but it also is an economic issue, because there's going to come a time not too far from now, if the moral case and the values case don't convince people, where we are going to have people who are underemployed and unemployed and marginalized, who are going to need to take part and to participate fully in this economy to keep Toronto as strong as it is. It's an investment and spending issue, I say, in the sense that we have the choice of investing now to the extent we can, and I'm going to get to that in terms of what this is, or we can pay later. And we can pay later in a way that is trying to remedy and put Band-Aids on things that are wounds that really gnaw at the social fabric of this city and really take away and sap our strength and sap what we're very proud of. Which brings us to the what. This report and this strategy is not an instant answer. Anybody who thinks it is, and I certainly don't, and I think anybody who thinks it is fooling themselves. It's not a 1-year or even a 3-year resolution to the entire issue of poverty. It is a plan with action steps in it and aspirations and goals. It's allowing us to, yes, invest ourselves, as we have in increased support last year for student nutrition or free transit fares for kids 12 and under. These are measures specifically in this report, which we've made some investment in already. And we're also saying yes to advocacy, which is going to help to bring on board a new government in Ottawa that seems to want to work with us on achieving objectives like this, and the Government of Ontario, which has similar parallel programs going on, and what we have to do is bring these together. What it is not, and I just want to say this as one person, when I vote for it, I will not believe I'm voting for the city undertaking by itself, with its own limited resources, which we all acknowledge, to solve all of these problems either alone or immediately, because I think that will create unrealistic expectations. I accept the plan with its aspirations. I support it. I buy into it. I commit myself to it, and I think we should commit ourselves to it. But I understand from day one it's going to go quite properly to the Budget Committee, We are there going to see it as an aspiration of ours to do as much as we can over the period of time that this action plan for the first term applies itself and over the 20 years. But how, and I'll just conclude on this note, Madam Speaker, and I thank you for a little bit of indulgence, the how part to me also contemplates the necessity of really addressing the effectiveness of the things we're doing and not just assuming we're going to pile new initiatives on top of old ones, some of which may have proven over time to be ineffective. I do find around here in my short time that there's always an assumption you couldn't possibly take away anything we did before that may not have worked. You've got to do everything on top of what you were doing before. And more isn't always better. More isn't always better because it's more. We've got to do things that are more effective. So I will conclude by simply saying that I think this is one of the most important decisions. It's one of the most important commitments that we're going to make as a council during this entire term of office without even knowing what else is going to come up over the next 3 years. Our values say that if we really want to be serious about creating the kind of Toronto and keeping the kind of Toronto we have, and that's got to get better, that we have to be serious about including everybody, and that to me is what this is about. It's about inclusion of people so they can be everything they want to be. It's not about handouts, it's about hands up. And I think that's going to be something that's essential to building the kind of Toronto that's strong and that we can be proud of. And so I will support this recommendation. And again, I extend my thanks to all those involved in putting this together and hope that we can have a rational debate and that we can be realistic in the aftermath about things we can do as much as we can, but that we're not going to be able to do things that are not realistic in the context of any government anywhere. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.